Okay, I figured it's time to do the full tutorial of how I made my Alex Warren jacket for his concert. So first, I started off by getting a blue jean jacket. I got mine off of Amazon for $25, and then I did a rough sketch of his portrait first. So because this was the biggest part of the jacket, I went ahead and worked on this. So I did a rough sketch in chalk. Then I went straight into painting it. I'm trying to get a layer down, kind of like a base layer. I wanted to do multiple layer of this instead of like one big thick layer, just so it wasn't too heavy. So you can kind of see a little bit of the details there. It wasn't the easiest to paint, essentially. I probably should have done a base coat of white down first, and I didn't. Some people said to mix it with fabric softener. I didn't do that either, but all in all, it seemed to work out pretty good, essentially. So I just continued to work on that, and I got his hair done and a base layer on his jacket, and then I started working on his name. So I got that down, did a base of white after I traced it, and then did it with that maroon color. This was a work in progress on his hair. I did have to do a little touch up on his face and did get the skin connected, so basically connected to his arm behind, and had just a few minor details that I had to do, like fix his hand and do another base paint, had to do the pinstripes, and then it was trying to figure out where essentially to put the album name and the tour name, because the tour name was originally going to go under his name and then the album was going to go at the bottom of the jacket. I screwed that up. So as you can see here, that's originally where I was going to put it, and then that just didn't end up working. And then I was going back and forth of whether to do the green or not. So ultimately I did decide where to place those, which obviously I'm not going to show you yet, because why would that? Anyway, did a little bit more touching up on his hair, and I did add his beard, and then we started working on the grass. So I just took a sponger and kind of made an abstract type layout to the grass, because I didn't want to do realistic grass. That was going to be a lot of paint. So I wanted to get the basis down, but I actually really liked it that the blue jean jacket peeked through it a lot. So as you can see, that's all I did for that portion. I do believe that I have outdone myself. I thought that little portion was funny. Anyway, so this was me after doing the grass. I did do his stripes on his jacket, and I added stars. I felt like stars was a very big theme for this, and it was just a little something to add. So I did have to fix his arm on that portion, but I put stars all around the album cover and at the bottom, because I just felt like that was super fun. So here's a closer look of all the stars at the bottom, and then I did not put the tour name in that corner. I decided to put the album there, and I did the stars at the bottom. I thought it just looked better. So, and then I did like a little AW for a little touch on that for Alex Warren. So yeah, that was the back. So the next portion was the sleeves. So the idea was to do the same star shape all the way down both sleeves, paint them white, and then put the lyrics on them. I was debating on whether to do 3 or 4 stars on the sleeves, but ultimately when I painted out 3, I didn't like it. It felt too incomplete. So I did end up doing 4 all the way. I did use a little bit of a template so that way I can get an even star all the way down. And then at this point, this was pretty much the completed back. So I added way more stars and touched up the name on it. And I did end up fixing his arm so that the lines were more cohesive. Did add some shadowing to it to make it look like an actual arm. That was a big thing. Touched up his hair once more. And then I went on to the sleeves. So at this point, I had painted out all the stars and wrote out lyrics for each one of them. This sleeve, it was, so at the bottom, it was You'll Be Alright Kid, Fever Dream, Ordinary, and Eternity was that sleeve. And then over here, so it was the outside, Never Be Far, and then this was the outside, Never Be Far, Getaway Car, and then that one is, the last one is Who I Am. So, fun fact, I got to actually hear all of these songs, but Who I Am live, so that was pretty cool. So I was going to paint the writing in originally maroon, and then I kind of added some touch-ups, and then it was working on the front. That was very close to it. Oh, and then I was going to put stars along the cardinal to match the bottom too. I didn't feel much when it came to the front, but you can see a little sneak peek of the arms. So there was me doing the collar. I did make the white more bright, and then I was just putting stars along the bottom of the front, and then I was putting the location and the date of the concert and the tour name on the top. So I went very minimal on the front, and this was the final look. So I was very pleased with it. This was right after I pretty much got it painting. I'm going to explain a little bit more, but here is that front. So you see the stars, the location, and the tour name. So kind of more up close and personal. So yeah, the back was absolutely everything that I could have imagined. Did do the writing of the lyrics in black, outlined them in maroon. The song Eternity was outlined in maroon. I was going to do them all in maroon, and I didn't like that. So I ended up doing them all in black, which I thought was a great contrast, and I didn't want to repaint it. So I left it maroon. I thought it gave it a nice little touch. But I was overall so happy with this whole project. It was actually super fun. Makes me want to do one for every concert I go to now. And it was just a hit. Super comfortable, super breathable too. So I didn't have hardly any complaints with this. And it's becoming a hit. So yep, there's the city that I went to, Nashville, and the tour date. And then I did put Little Orphan Alex live on it. The other one just kind of got too long, which that was the other name for it. So there's all of my little stars. I hope you all enjoyed this little tutorial, and yeah, it was just my favorite. And then here is me wearing it in downtown Nashville. All right, thanks guys. Okay, bye.